All right, everyone, welcome back for another episode of This Week in Charts via Carnival Trades and Wall Street from Main Street. If you've not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find Jason on Patreon. Come find me on carnivaltrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Anyways, let's get into it this week here. So, market's able to bounce here. We talked about a little bit of turbulence maybe early in the week in last week's video, and there kind of was. But overall, we're green 5 days in a row here, and we are continuing up. I never really was looking for any sort of big dip. And markets right now are trying to crawl back to that 6,000 handle. I do think, and I said last week, the Bears have to do damage by the middle of the week, and they did not do that. And you can see now post NVIDIA earnings, we are inching back up to the highs here. And as we get closer to the holiday period, which will be next week, don't forget it'll be shortened, as we obviously have Thanksgiving and Black Friday, which will just be a half day, and then Thanksgiving obviously is closed. You're going to have light volume. Institutional investors are going to be out of town, so there's not going to be a lot of participation. That usually bodes very well for neutral to upside trading. And again, I'm still remaining bullish here and thinking we can get that kind of rally into the end of the year. Doesn't mean it'll go straight up, but right now markets are okay. And we also have, I guess, maybe a little bit of a milkshake, right? So maybe Jason will talk to Brent Johnson again soon. But gold up, markets up. Silver up, Bitcoin up, dollar up, and yields up. So really everything except today, TNX down, not even 1%, but trend is still up either way. But that is kind of the configuration we have right now. We'll talk about Bitcoin, of course, in a minute. I want to talk about with Michael Saylor, Gary Gensler stepping down if you haven't heard. And Bitcoin now just shy of 100K, yet Gensler will step down on the 20th of January. Bitcoin shy of 100K, we'll definitely get into that as well. But right now, quickly go over equities. Again, right now, I don't really necessarily see us breaking through 6K just yet, but we will. Possibly later in like mid next week. Again, NVIDIA earnings was kind of a nothing burger. We gapped up yesterday, and now we're kind of just backing off here today. As long as it's above 140, I think, the stock is obviously safe. So no real issues there. And I still think semiconductors can kind of catch up towards the end of the year. But overall, again, markets are fine. No problems. And next after 6,000 is really like 6,100. That's been my kind of yearly price target since, really like late May, early April, or late May. We'll say springtime, somewhere in here. Anyway, either way, markets here holding up okay. Triple Qs, the big level to get above is 510. So that's going to be the breakdown from last Thursday. That close right there. If we can close above that, I think this should shoot up to 520, 525. The Russell 2000 also getting a nice bid. We talked about this level last week. There's the RTY futures. We had a nice trade in the trading room this week on this as well. Beautiful pierce of that, and then this is inched up very nicely this week. So good rebound for small caps. And again, we're starting to see, we can talk about this later, and the more we get closer to the end of the year, the more we get into January, we are seeing a little bit of dash for trash. That can go on for a while. I don't expect a huge reversal in the markets in December, but we are getting into that anything rally, right? This stock here, quantum computing, to 500% since the beginning of the month. It's up 100% this week. We're starting to see those stocks really start to run. Those companies that aren't making any money really start to run. We just need the solar. We'll know the top is in if solar starts rallying, but or marijuana stocks for that matter. But in any case, here we're starting to see that. You're seeing some altcoin euphoria as well. They're starting to catch up. ETH's actually catching up too. We'll talk about that later. So just some things to be aware of. Again, I don't expect any sort of major top in the month of December, but we are getting into that froth here. So again, Qs 510 for next week. Watch that area. IWM. This actually exceeded my little bounce target here. I was really just looking for about 2390, and that's continued through that. I think, let me just take a 786. I'm actually just doing this in real time right now. Yeah, so there's 2417 is your 786. That I would imagine we should stall out there. Yeah, I mean, that's basically what, like 239 on IWM. And then I think IWM does make new all-time highs into the end of the year. So maybe 250. I don't think that's unreasonable by January. So again, market still acting well. Dow got back above that that level. So we gapped down Tuesday into the 20 MA and then, you know, right back up. So no problems here with the Dow. That's just off all-time highs as well. Semiconductors via SMH. Again, still soft here. I think this is going to catch up, though. I think it's going to surprise a lot of people. A lot of people kind of hate it now. And I think that you kind of get that, you know, if we do get an everything rally, I think this will at least catch up and start to try to make a run towards that all-time high. We still have ridiculous strength in cloud software. I was looking for this to back off and semiconductors to catch up. That can still happen. But right now, IGV, what can you say? Really good call earlier this year in June to rotate into cloud and to out of semis. And this has exceeded all my targets too. So great move for cloud software. Transports also, again, a lot of these charts look the same, right? You know, pull back into the 20 MA and then a bid. So transport's not far from all-time highs either. This is just really a spike that never followed through. I think they can get there, you know, maybe by early Q1. Let's get over to rates. There's Bitcoin. We'll definitely talk Bitcoin, don't worry. But 2-year here, so this is important. 2-year is holding up. We have a Fed meeting next month. And here's this yellow line is Fed funds, effective Fed funds. That's 4.58. 2-year yield's 4.37. Now ask yourself, what's 4.58 minus 25? Right? 4.33. So can the Fed cut here? So I don't think they can. Now, again, I think we can whisper. I think we can whistle past the graveyard a little bit longer, you know, into the end of the year. There's just too many end of year flows that have to take place. Recollateralization, also performance chasing, stuff like that. But, you know, early next year, this could be a problem. So, and this is consolidating right now. This is the 2-year yield. This is just consolidating this move. If you get through that, we have to talk about hikes. Does that happen? It remains to be seen. But just keep that in mind. 5s, 10s, and 30s, all very similar. No problems here. I think the 30-year wants 4 3/4 by the end of the year. So that's what we're looking at here. No problems with rates here. XHB, again, still in no man's land, but it's getting close to our level, you know, around 120, the psychological level. That's been a ceiling, right? 1, 2, possibly 3 hits now on that. So if we get through that, all is back and well on XHB, but right now still in a range. You do have a higher low here, so I think it will eventually get through that. BNQ is peaking above our little channel here, so that's getting ready to go. Got a little bit of a level there at 100, but I think it can maybe get up to that pivot there at 102. We'll call it 102.50, and then maybe 105 or so after that. So VNQ acting well, XLF acting well too. Again, I still think it's really high on the hog, but you know, what can you say? The trend is up. It's at all-time highs. So don't fight this tape. Don't fight the market when the financials are strong. KRE up 2 1/4 today. KBE just off of all-time highs as well. Look at that. So banks are still strong here. By the way, Druck bought KRE last quarter too. He could have taken some profits since then, but he obviously knows what he was doing or knew what he was doing when he bought the regionals. XBD, again, you know, it's parabolic now. It's on borrowed time. Look at the weekly, look at the monthly. This is unsustainable. But it can go higher than you think. You know, parabolic trends rarely correct sideways, though, so just keep that in mind. Oil here actually doing something here. So I'm going to say 71.80 to 72 is our short-term level here, but we're back above that trend line. I think we can probably get rid of that at this point. I'll just leave it there for now, but we've traded through it enough. But the market was respecting it, right? So look at the higher highs here. It's kind of just hugging that. And now we're above it here today. It actually dipped pretty good in the pre-market, like 5 in the morning, and then came right back here. So, I mean, you know, oil up, yields up, dollar up, gold up, Bitcoin up, right? Everything's up here, except the VIX. But oil here, you know, 72 is your next psych level, and then Get the 200 day with 74 handle above that. I really like XLE. I'm deeply in the money on my energy plays here. XLE is one of them. I also really like ExxonMobil on the larger time frames. I think this can go make a new all-time high leg into Q1. And I think the market will not like that. Typically, that is the case. When you get energy, or say when the market and tech tops out, typically money goes to rotate into energy. Again, I don't think that's going to be a problem right now. But looking into, next year could be something. XOP continuing up, 150 is your next level there. OIH finally got the higher highs, nice inside bar pattern playing out. So again, these energy plays have worked well for us. Uranium, CCJ also at new all-time highs. URNM's a little bit of a laggard though. We need to see that get above 50 to resume that uptrend. And then URNJ, yeah, I'd like to see that above this 200 moving average here. I think it will get there. So the uranium space still seeing a lot of bullish flows, and it's likely now that we have a weekly higher low here. Nat gas, I think, has topped out for the year. So it had a nice rally, nice squeeze up, yeah, all the way up to about 357. If you look seasonally, it likes to top out around this time. And it's pretty much clockwork. It's not, it doesn't miss very often. We look at, I believe I have it on here somewhere. Yep, here we go. So just ignore this little annotation there, but this generally likes to top out. There we go. Sorry about that. It gets those kind of secondary 1, 2, 3 peaks into the late November, and then we get that sell into Q1. And I think we've got a peak here. Definitely looks like one. So I'd be careful with nat gas right now. But it had that final rally into the end of the month. So there it is. Anyway, dollar index here. So it starts to pull back in the beginning of the week. So I was correct about 107 being resistance, but new high 108. The next level here is 109.40. That's going all the way back. Well, let me go to a daily chart here for you guys. So it's right about here, 109.40 to 109.50. Pivot high, right? Broke up there, hit it again, and then we broke down. So right in that area on the DXY, there we go. So it's got a ways to go. And now it needs to confirm above this level. We could easily close above here today and then come back next week. But that's really the next area that I've got for the dollar. And again, it's not affecting gold. I told you guys gold was a buy last week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row of rallying. I said 2,700 was kind of my max target for this week, and we exceeded it. So gold, just really strong here. Again, speaking of seasonal charts, I don't think 3,000 is anything we'll see by the end of the year, but I think we could see it by Q1. And look at this, right? So top, beginning of November, right? Pull back low, and then scooping up into December. What do we have here? Top, right at the end of October 31st. There it is, right there. Sell off into the third week of November, OPEX. And I told you guys there was a lot of dealer gamma that was going to roll off, and it was going to be positive into the end of the year. And that's happened so far. So it looks a lot like that seasonality chart, doesn't it? Doesn't look like it's missing. So we could see, a rally maybe into Feb, March in mid-Q1. It's possible to see 3K by then. Now, is it going to go in a straight line? No. I mean, I'd look for a pullback pattern or a flag here. But I don't see anything wrong here. I don't see anything wrong. Silver is a little bit weaker. Remember last week, silver was stronger, gold was weaker, and now it's the other way around. We did get a bounce, but 1, 2, 3 pullback in the middle of the week, whereas gold was straight up. It's not terrible. There's nothing wrong, but it's just like less. It's just getting less of a reaction. So I still think you can get up into 32, 32.50, but it's a little bit weaker than gold at the moment. Platinum, again, bouncing as well. Needs to get through 980 and then it can go to 1,000 to 1010. Palladium, also with a nice bounce, and needs to get through these moving averages here and then it can go up to 1125. Copper I like a lot less. Very weak bounce here. So I was looking for 425 on a retest and we're not there. It still could get there, but setup is just not as good. So you want to see that hold $4. Right, over to Bitcoin and crypto here. So Bitcoin just shy of 100K right after Gensler steps down. Isn't that fitting? I was really hoping it would get to 100K yesterday when he stepped down, just to make it, put a button on it really. After that, I know it sounds simple, but it's 110 and 120. Those are macro targets. They're not going to go straight there. I did have a GAN level at 99.4. We essentially hit that today. There's another one at like 101 and change. But the macro targets here are 110, 120. And that's from dealer option data, which is now available on IBIT. So we now have we can now have gamma squeezes on IBIT. And there is enough activity on this that can move the market. It's not like a little crappy ETF that nobody trades. There's enough open interest. Now, the other side of that is MSTR. Michael Saylor is really playing with fire here. There is no such thing as an infinite money glitch, and if there is, it doesn't last very long and it ends in tears. And what he's doing with MSTR here, I'll just say this. Institutions, big boys on the street, if they catch him and he's exposed, they can do the same thing with IBIT to the downside, and they can margin call him. So this is a dangerous game here. But I'm not bearish Bitcoin, just pointing out the risks here. I still think it's going to inch higher into six figures, as I've told you. The dominance may be starting to diminish. ETH has had a nice rebound here. And it's firmed up a lot. So, and some of these alts are starting to pick up too. Solana's just off of all-time highs now. That one's been outperforming for a while. But yeah, Bitcoin's fine. Just be aware. There's a lot more. There's new stuff going on here. And I don't think the market's really even paying attention to it that much. All right. Anyway, so markets here holding up fine. 6,000 will be a resistance level for next week. If we get through that, next level is really around 6,100. And I wouldn't get too bearish here until after the end of the year at this point. So, anyways, guys, I'll wrap it up here. Again, you guys take care. Don't forget to come find Jason on Patreon. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. See you guys all next week.